Far beyond Earth's blue skies, in the far reaches of space, the colonies thrived in quiet harmony, their cities glowing like tiny stars against the dark canvas of the cosmos. For decades, these distant worlds had been home to millions of humans, who had worked tirelessly to build new lives far from the troubles of old Earth. Life was hard but hopeful. Scientists developed new technologies, farmers grew strange but nourishing crops, and children laughed under alien suns that warmed. Unfamiliar skies, but peace, as always, was fragile. One evening, as the colonies prepared for their daily rest, a sudden alarm shattered the calm. Bright flashes lit the horizon as strange, unfamiliar ships appeared without warning. These ships were unlike anything the humans had seen before, sleek, dark, and moving with deadly precision. Within minutes, bombs rained down on key colony centers. Buildings that once stood tall crumbled to dust. Fires spread like wild storms, and the air filled with screams and the harsh sounds of chaos. No one understood why these invaders had come, but their message was clear. They wanted to destroy humanity's presence in space. The news reached Earth in an instant, carried by 1,000 signals and frantic messages. Governments on Earth watched helplessly as their farthest outposts burned, their defenses outmatched by this unknown enemy. Panic began to spread. Was this the start of a war humanity could not win? At the heart of this crisis, a secret began to surface, whispered among the highest leaders and hidden from public eyes for decades. The giants. These were no ordinary humans. They were immense beings, 3 times taller and stronger than the average person, created long ago in top-secret labs, designed to protect humanity when all other defenses failed. For years, they had slept deep beneath the earth, waiting for a time of great peril. Now that time had come. As the colonies burned and millions faced extinction, the world held its breath. Would these giants awaken and bring salvation, or would they remain hidden relics of a past humanity had feared? Tension built like a rising storm. Governments debated, families prayed, and the aliens above continued their relentless assault. Somewhere in the shadows of Earth's deepest vaults, the giants stirred, their eyes opening to a universe at war. The fate of humanity now balanced on the edge of a blade, poised between destruction and the awakening of the giants who might yet save them all. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, far away from the eyes of the world, a series of massive doors began to slowly open, releasing a hiss of stale air and the soft hum of ancient machines waking from a long sleep. Inside a vast underground complex, the giants stirred, their enormous bodies, carefully preserved in stasis pods, flexed and moved, as if shaking off decades of deep sleep. Scientists and military leaders watched nervously on screens above, their faces pale but determined. The decision to awaken these colossal warriors had been made just hours before, after the brutal attacks on the colonies showed no sign of stopping and conventional forces failed to push back the enemy. The giants were humanity's last hope, but no one knew if their strength alone could defeat the alien threat, or if these titans would even remember their purpose. As the first giant slowly rose, his eyes glowing faintly with intelligence, a wave of fear and awe swept through the control room. He stood nearly 3 times taller than a normal man, his muscles rippling beneath the reinforced armor designed to protect him in battle. Though enormous and powerful, there was a humanity in his gaze that made those watching realize these beings were more than weapons. They were people, born of science and sacrifice. Outside the underground chambers, the world waited with bated breath. News of the awakening leaked out in whispers and rumors, some people hopeful, others fearful of what such power could mean. The giants had been kept secret for a reason. If enemies learned of them, war might come even sooner. Now that secret was out, and the fate of the colonies and Earth itself depended on the success of this desperate gamble. As the giants took their first steps in centuries, They faced their own challenges, adjusting to a changed world, understanding new technology, and reconnecting with the humans they were sworn to protect. Their leaders trained them rigorously, preparing the giants for combat that no one could yet fully imagine. Across the galaxy, alien ships noticed the shift in human defenses and sent probes to investigate. The war was far from over, but now the giants had joined the fight. In the silent halls, where steel met stone, the giants moved with purpose, their massive footsteps echoing like thunder, signaling a new hope rising from humanity's darkest hour. Yet questions remained. Could these giant warriors overcome the advanced enemy? Would the world accept these beings who were both protector and weapon? As the first giant looked toward the stars, determination burned in his eyes. Ready to step into the war and defend all that humans held dear. After months of intense training, preparation, and careful planning, the giants were finally ready to face the alien forces that had ravaged Earth's colonies. The day of the first strike arrived with a mix of hope and fear hanging heavy in the air. The enormous warriors, towering over the battlefield, moved with surprising grace and speed despite their size. Their heavy boots crushed the ground beneath them, sending tremors through the earth as they advanced toward the front lines, where human soldiers and alien invaders clashed in chaotic fights. The regular troops, initially unsure how to react to their colossal allies, watched with growing amazement as the giants waded into the fray, their powerful fists smashing enemy machines into scrap metal and their sheer strength toppling massive alien warships that had once seemed unstoppable. The sight of these towering defenders breathed new life into the human forces who fought with renewed energy and belief. Yet the battle was far from easy. The aliens adapted quickly, unleashing deadly energy weapons and deploying advanced drones designed to attack the giants' weak points. Despite the challenges, the giants pushed forward, relying on teamwork and their unique training to withstand the onslaught. One giant, named Arik, stood out among the others. Though massive and fearsome, he showed an unusual sense of care and caution, often shielding smaller soldiers from harm and coordinating attacks with tactical precision. His leadership brought order to the chaotic battlefield and inspired those around him. As the fighting intensified, the story followed a young officer named Maya, who had been assigned to work closely with Arik. At first, she struggled to communicate with him, intimidated by his size and strange ways. But over time, they developed a bond rooted in mutual respect and a shared goal of saving humanity. Together, they led daring missions that disrupted the alien supply lines and forced enemy commanders to rethink their strategies. The suspense grew with every skirmish, as both sides suffered heavy losses and the outcome remained uncertain. The giants, though powerful, were not invincible, and the aliens' technological edge continued to pose deadly threats. In one gripping moment, Arik faced a towering enemy mech that had nearly crushed a group of human fighters. Using a mix of strength and cunning, he managed to topple the machine, but not without sustaining serious injuries. The battle scenes were vivid and tense, filled with close calls and acts of bravery that kept the reader on edge. Outside the battlefield, Earth's population watched anxiously, hoping for good news, but fearing what might come next. Reports from the front lines were mixed, highlighting both heroic victories and devastating setbacks. As the giants fought through the chaos, the story also explored their inner struggles, memories of their creation, questions about their place in a world they had never fully known, and the heavy weight of responsibility they carried. The first strike was not just a battle, it was a test of humanity's will to survive and adapt. The part ended with a dramatic cliffhanger. Just as the giants began to turn the tide, an enormous alien fleet appeared on the horizon, bigger and more dangerous than anyone had predicted, promising even greater challenges ahead. The war was far from over, and the giants' true strength would soon be tested like never before. The arrival of the massive alien fleet changed everything. What had been a fierce but manageable conflict suddenly became a desperate struggle for survival on multiple fronts, as Earth's defenders found themselves pushed back and forced to rethink their entire strategy. The giants, despite their overwhelming strength, could no longer rely on brute force alone. The battlefield had expanded beyond familiar territory, turning into a complex, dangerous war zone stretching from the shattered colonies to the edges of Earth's orbit and into the depths of space. To meet the challenge, human engineers worked day and night, racing to develop new weapons and armor designed specifically to help the giants fight in this new, deadly environment. These massive warriors were fitted with powerful exoskeleton suits that enhanced their already incredible strength, and they learned to pilot specially built war machines that combined their size with advanced human technology. Meanwhile, human pilots in agile spacecraft coordinated with the giants on the ground and in orbit, striking enemy ships with precision and working as a united front. The story follows Arik and Maya once again, their bond deeper now as they lead a combined force into the heart of the conflict. Eric's towering frame moved with surprising speed inside his powered armor, wielding massive weapons that fired energy blasts capable of tearing through the toughest alien shields. Maya directed strikes from orbit, guiding their forces through dangerous asteroid fields and debris from destroyed colonies. The aliens responded with brutal new tactics, deploying swarms of small attack drones designed to overwhelm the giants' defenses and introducing powerful biomechanical creatures that adapted to human weapons. Every battle became a tense, high-stakes contest where human ingenuity met alien cruelty. The tension rose steadily as casualties mounted, and the lines between victory and defeat blurred. Yet through the chaos, the giants and their human allies never lost hope. They uncovered secrets about the aliens' origins and weaknesses, allowing them to strike at key enemy command centers and disrupt supply routes. The giants' presence on the battlefield inspired civilians back on Earth and across the colonies, who rallied to support the war effort with renewed vigor. However, the cost was high. Each battle left scars on the planets they fought over, and each victory was tempered by the loss of brave lives. Arik faced moments of doubt, questioning whether these sacrifices would be enough to save humanity. The story deepens with personal struggles. Maya's guilt over the soldiers lost under her command, the giants struggle to remain connected to their humanity despite their enormous size and power, and the growing fear that the war might never truly end. As the conflict moved into space and back to Earth, new alliances formed, and old rivalries threatened to undermine the fragile unity necessary to survive. Just as the giants began to gain ground, a new and terrifying threat emerged: an alien, weapon of unimaginable power, capable of destroying entire planets with a single strike. The final scenes build to a nail-biting climax as the humans and giants race against time to stop this weapon from being used against Earth itself. The fate of humanity hangs in the balance once again, with every character pushed to their limits in a battle that will decide the future of the human race. Suspense fills every moment with unexpected twists and heart-pounding action, keeping readers hooked as the story hurtles toward a new and uncertain chapter in this epic war. The battle for humanity's survival reached a critical moment as the alien superweapon, known only as the Oblivion Ray, loomed threateningly in orbit around Earth, its dark silhouette a constant reminder of the destruction it could unleash in seconds. The giants, now fully armored and battle-hardened, stood as the last great hope against this terrifying force, while millions of humans watched anxiously from underground bunkers and city shelters, praying for a miracle. Arik, bruised but unbroken, led the charge alongside Maya, who coordinated the defense from a command center orbiting high above Earth's atmosphere. The humans had little time and fewer options. The Oblivion Ray was preparing to fire, its energy core glowing ominously as it charged up, promising to vaporize entire continents in one devastating blast. The giants moved swiftly across Earth's surface, fighting off relentless waves of alien reinforcements sent to protect the weapon, their massive steps shaking the ground and sending shockwaves that echoed through the planet's crust. Yet, despite their might, the enemy's technology and numbers pushed the giants to their limits, forcing them to rely on clever tactics rather than sheer force. Maya coordinated daring strikes from orbit, sending fighters to target weak points in the alien fleet and providing real-time updates to ground forces, while Arik and his team battled through debris and firestorms to reach the core of the alien station. Suspense grew with every passing moment as the countdown to the Oblivion Ray's firing neared zero, and the fate of Earth seemed to hang by a thread. In the midst of battle, unexpected allies emerged, former enemies from neighboring star systems, inspired by humanity's courage, sent reinforcements that helped to turn the tide. The giants adapted to new weapons and strategies, using guerrilla tactics and coordinated strikes to dismantle the alien defenses piece by piece. In a breathtaking climax, Arik faced the alien commander in a fierce duel atop the massive weapon platform. Their battle was not just of strength but of wills, each blow threatening to topple the fate of humanity. Meanwhile, Maya's quick thinking disrupted the energy flow of the Oblivion Ray, buying precious seconds. At the final moment, as the weapon neared full charge, Arik struck a decisive blow, destroying the core and causing the entire station to begin collapsing in a storm of fire and metal. The aliens retreated in disarray, and Earth was saved, but the cost was immense. Cities lay in ruins, and many lives were lost. Yet, amid the destruction, hope was reborn. The giants had proven that humanity's strength was not just in numbers or technology, but in courage, unity, and the will to survive. As the dust settled, Arik and Maya stood among the survivors, looking toward a future that was uncertain but brighter than before. The turning point had come, not just in the war, but in humanity's place among the stars. This victory showed that humans were not merely victims of fate, but masters of their destiny, ready to face whatever new challenges the universe might throw their way. Suspense lingered in the air, for though the immediate threat was over, the scars of war and the shadows of new dangers reminded everyone that peace was only the beginning of another, greater journey. With the alien threat defeated and the war winding down, Earth and its colonies faced a new challenge, rebuilding a shattered civilization, while deciding what place the giants would hold in this changed world. The enormous warriors, once hidden and feared, had become symbols of hope and strength for humanity, but their presence stirred complex feelings among people. Some saw them as heroes and protectors, others as dangerous weapons that might one day turn against those they were sworn to defend. Eric, still bearing scars from countless battles, now found himself navigating a world that was both grateful and uncertain, striving to build trust between the giants and ordinary humans. Maya worked tirelessly alongside leaders from Earth and the Colonies to create a new alliance that included the giants as guardians, not just soldiers hoping to prevent future wars through unity and diplomacy. The giants themselves struggled with their identity. Created for war but longing for peace, they sought ways to contribute beyond the battlefield, helping with rebuilding efforts, rescuing survivors from disaster zones, and even inspiring children who looked up to their towering forms as living legends. Suspense lingered in the air because old fears and new threats were never far away. Rumors whispered of alien factions that still plotted in the dark, watching humanity's recovery with cold eyes, waiting for a chance to strike again. The giants trained and prepared, knowing that their battles might not be over, but also dreaming of a time when their strength would be needed not for war, but for protection and peace. Eric and Maya uncovered secret messages hidden in alien technology, hints that suggested a larger cosmic conflict beyond what anyone had imagined, forcing humanity to prepare for challenges even greater than before. Meanwhile, tensions arose among human governments and colonies, each wary of the power the giants represented and debating how to control or collaborate with them. Through it all, Eric became a bridge between worlds, his wisdom growing as he learned more about humanity's hopes and fears. The story culminates in a dramatic moment when an unexpected attack on a distant colony threatens to ignite a new war. The giants respond swiftly, not just with force, but with diplomacy and courage, showing that their role had evolved from mere warriors to true guardians of all humanity. The tale closes on a note of suspense and hope. Giants among us, standing tall in a universe full of unknown dangers, ready to protect the fragile flame of human civilization. The future remained uncertain, but one thing was clear: humanity's giants had stepped into the light, forever changing the story of Earth and the stars beyond.